Alright, so we're going to talk about cameras and using some of the walk and fly features in the panorama feature as well. So I'm going to turn off realistic mode here so I can snap to the corners. And the first thing I'm going to do is go to visualize, and I'm going to settle, well, I'll leave the lens length set to the default of 50. And I'm going to insert a camera, and I'm going to snap to the corner here. And I'm going to look down near the floor over here. I'm going to then click on camera properties, and that's our camera recreated, and then view the camera. And I'm going to switch it to realistic. So with a lens length of 50 in such a small space, you can see it looks zoomed in, and you'll find a lens length of 24 tends to be more realistic of what the human eye would see. So that's one little trick you can use. So that's how you can set up a camera in a room. The next thing we'll look at, and then you can also just adjust your camera up and down using the joggers here, or switch it to target, and you can, if you wanted to, I'll set it to 1 here. If you wanted to just tilt, look a little bit to the left or right, you can use that to adjust your views. Okay, so next thing we'll look at now is the walk and fly features. So if you click on walk fly settings, you can choose a step size, and what that is the amount the camera moves forward in the drawing. And for a scene like this, setting it to 1 is probably a good place to start. And then your walk elevation, you can choose a default elevation you want to start at. So we know the floor is at 0. Maybe we want to be, let's say, 5 feet up from the bottom of the floor. And then the steps per second, this is being reserved for a recorder we'll be adding in the next version of Map360. So for now, these are the 2 options you want to choose, and you want to leave the prevent clipping on. And you can always set that as default if you want. I am going to set my lens length to 24 just so I have a wider view. And now I'm going to use the walk command. And how this works is you use your arrow keys. So here I'm moving forward, I'm moving back, moving left, moving right. So that's using the arrow keys. You can also use your left mouse button. So I'm just dragging on the screen. And in essence, what you're doing here is kind of like almost moving your head. So it lets you look around the scene. And then you can also use the page up and the page down to move it up and down. And as you're moving forward, you can use your wheel mouse to speed it up. So now I've sped up my movement because I've rolled forward with my middle mouse, or I can roll backwards and slow it right down. So there I'm speeding up. So as you can see, this lets you look around your scene. I can walk in here, look around, walk out the door, and here I'm just using the mouse to tilt to look around. I'm going to walk into this room. I'm using page up now, so and you can use your mouse button as you're using your keys, so it lets you just sort of look around, tilt the camera while you're moving with the keys. So that's how the walk command works. And you just hit escape to escape out of it. The fly command is similar. And what that does when you start moving with your arrow keys, it's a little bit more dynamic. And what you do is you use your mouse to fly through the scene. And it takes a little bit of practice, but once you get the hang of it, it's quite easy to use. And if you were using like a screen recorder, So again, the next version will have a screen recorder built in that you can record your movement. But for now, if you were using something like Camtasia or another screen capture tool, you could create a fly through or a video as you're flying through. So that's the fly command. And the next one we'll look at is panorama. So if you, let's go to top view here, click on cameras and switch to that view. So what panorama does is in your current view, it just lets you look around basically. That's all it does. But it can be really handy when you're just wanting to get a view from the camera and look around, in this case the room here. So there we're looking right down at the corner. And that's how you can use the camera and walk and fly around your scene.